Preeya, I'm in my happy place now because I have 2 big pieces of steak in front of me and I'm going to make you one of the best sauces I've ever made in my entire life.
Wow.
But the first thing we need to do is we need to season these steaks because...
Meat loves salt and salt loves meat.
And salt loves meat and meat loves salt. The other way around. You can do it both ways. Really important that you put plenty of salt on your steak because that's what brings out the flavour. And I'm going to teach you how much salt goes on this. So I want you to grab some salt there. And I want you to grab more salt than you think that you would ever need.
That's what I've got in my paw?
That's it. Oh, that's it. Use it like you stole it.
Look how excited he's getting. Wow.
And then we've got the other side to do as well.
Right.
Flip it over. We want salt on that side as well.
Here we go, friend.
Really important when you are choosing a steak, choose the best steak you possibly can. That's what I reckon. Go to your butcher, tell them you want to cook a lovely, juicy steak. And I reckon the Porterhouse is one of the best middle-of-the-road steaks. And that's what you want to do. Spend more money than you think and you'll buy really good beef. One of my favourite things to buy is grass-fed beef. Grain-fed is also delicious as well.
All right.
What I'll do now is grab the steak and I'll just put a little bit of olive oil on there, just a tiny bit. And what that does is it helps with the transfer of the heat from the pan into the steak. And I'll just drizzle it around like that and make sure it's reasonably well coated. Just a little thin layer.
Okay.
Exactly. And we pick up all of that salt and pepper that's left on there. Now, I've got a pan on here. It's nice and hot. And you want to start off in a fairly hot pan because you want to sear the outside of it to lock in the juices. Now, a lot of people say how many times you turn it, once or twice. I turn it many times. I like to think of a steak as like a suckling pig. The juices are trying to escape through the top of it. So every time you turn it around, those juices are full and they have to turn around again. So the idea is to keep the juices in the steak. I know I'm going to render down some of the fat from the steak. That's going to render down a little bit. And I'll just put a tiny bit of oil in there. You don't need a lot. You just need a tiny bit to get that sizzle action going. And the beauty of this induction cooktop means I'm able to control it. I want a really high heat to start with and I can turn it down as well. Really, really easy. And one of the best things as well is that when I cook a steak, I know there's going to be lots of splashing all over the place. Very, very easy to clean at the end. There we go. Turn that over like that. You can see it's nice and golden. It's coming along beautifully. I'll turn that one over like that. That's what I'm looking for. So I'll keep turning that over again and again till it's cooked all the way through. And I know it's cooked all the way through by the temperature on the inside. Or when I get to that nice soft touch, just by touching it like that, I know it's ready. It's blue in the middle now, so we'll let this go and we'll get it going. But we're going to make the sauce because a great steak is married with a great sauce.
And it's all about the sauce. Exactly. I know you're talking about that, but the brief for this episode was?
Sauce.
Sauce, correct, my
They
friend.
want it nice and saucy. So in my other pan here, I'm going to use the very low, gentle heat to start off the sauce. Now, sauces is something I've been cooking since I was a very young apprentice. It's actually a very big subject that we learn, all about making the mother sauces, making stocks, all of these things that come together to finish off the dish that you're doing.
I love that we would have had very different trainings, don't you think?
Exactly.
I love thinking of young Richo. You had a ponytail back then. Learning about sauces. Like, I just love it. Meanwhile, I wasn't even born.
When the dinosaurs roamed the earth, that's right. A long time ago, can you imagine me with a very tall chef's hat,
and a ponytail, be clear.
The ponytail was tucked up under the hat because you weren't allowed to have long hair in kitchens, so I put it up in a ponytail, but that's the way I did it. Now, pan here, nice and gentle, in goes some butter. I'm going to put the shallots in here because this is how we're going to start off the sauce, with shallots and a bit of butter, and we'll just keep an eye on this steak as it's cooking. And you've done the right thing. You've gone straight into the parsley. We're going to chop a whole lot of herbs to finish it off. But this will take a few minutes, lots of turning of the steak and concentrating and
lots of talking, not much turning.
Well, there'll be a little bit of that. In goes the shallots. We'll keep an eye on that with the spoon, and I'll just turn over the steaks.
There we go. There's the turn.
Okay, Preeya, the steak's cooked beautifully. I'll pop it on the plate here. Very important when you cook a steak, rest it for half the cooking time. That allows all the juices to relax in the meat. So when you do cut into it, you don't get all the juices on the plate. It stays in the meat where it belongs. Now, I've got my saucepan here with the butter, a little bit of thyme and the shallots. I'm going to take this pan here. We're going to do something called deglazing. So it's nice and hot. We've got a little bit of butter in there and the oil, and the juices from the steak in there. And we're going to use them to flavour the sauce. So what we'll do is turn this induction up. And the beauty of induction is everything happens really quickly when you want it to. So into the pan this goes, and we use up all of those juices there. It's already starting to look good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I can see you just starting
I'm like, oh, here comes the sauce.
Yeah, getting nice and interested here. I'm going to use some mustard here, Dijon mustard, a favourite of mine. In that goes, and we stir that in. We'll grab the next little jug here, which is a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. I'm putting a lot of things in here. You can just use some of these if you want. But if you master this technique, and if you've got a great stove like this where you can keep the temperature just right, you'll get a great sauce. A little bit of brandy goes in there.
Oh, brandy.
In we go. In that goes. Be careful when you're adding alcohol, because if you do have a flame around you, it will ignite the alcohol and it just explodes. So be very careful of adding alcohol to a sauce. Red wine, even more alcohol.
Wow.
In that goes.
Okay.
And what we're doing now is using the high heat of the induction stove to reduce it down as well. We're getting these lovely thick bubbles here. That's what we're looking for. Is that looking good?
It is. It's smelling good too.
That's what we want. Just mix it around like this, and then why not a little bit of cream in here, just to make it even more delicious. In goes the cream. And the beauty of the cream, it'll help to thicken it up as well as make it nice and luscious and delicious.
Perfect sauce. Lots of components. I like the fact that you've said to people at home you could take some of them back.
Exactly.
If you want to, if you don't have them lying around. But
Exactly. I always have them lying around, but, you know, a little bit of red wine, a little bit of cream is all you need. You know, a little bit of mustard and Worcestershire, a little bit of brandy. Any of those components work beautifully. One of the important things is we use all the juices from the pan that we cook the steak in, and that's going to help to give you lots of flavour. Now, this is starting to come together beautifully, and what I'm going to do is just look at the consistency, nice and thick. That's what I'm looking for. And what we sometimes do with the sauce is we'll take a spoonful of that and put it on the plate and then see what it looks like on the plate. And if it holds up beautifully, we know it's ready to go. So that's what we're talking about when we mention consistency. And I reckon we're ready to go. I can see you're just
I want to taste this sauce.
It's going to be delicious. Now, some beautifully chopped chives, dill, parsley and thyme. So it's sort of like a Diane sauce with lots of flavour in it and lots of herbs as well. This is my version. I love lots of herbs in here. It's going to give it a lovely flavour. Take it off the heat and just stir that in together.
It smells amazing.
It does, doesn't it?
It smells like I'm at your restaurant.
It is a restaurant sauce.
There you go.
Cooked at
home. It does smell like that.
Now, this is the best part here. Just spoon it straight onto the steak like that. You're going to be able to pick this sauce up with your spoon and a fork. You might need to cut through it, but it's got lots of flavour. And you can imagine this coming to the table. Lots of delicious flavour. All we need to do is cut into the steak, and we will cut into the steak in a second, but it's all about the sauce. I want you to taste that and tell me what you think of that. Fantastic. Lots of fresh herbs in there. Can you imagine you could put some peppercorns in there as well? That mustard's coming through.
Wow, it is so rich and packed with flavour. It's like a flavour punch. It's glorious. And I love that you've given us little ways that we can adapt it at home. Definitely going to give it a go.
Nice and easy. Anyone can do it. And it takes your steak, which is going to be delicious, to the next level.